don't know these streets like we do.
So let's jump into one of the biggest stories for the week, and that would be Kwesi story about out, and it came out as a result of a year on one kasa ne be posty and maybe it will face well posting on X. I don't know if it went on to other platforms of his, but X no ena eji hini kese pa eji ntrahi. Now on X, this is what Kwesi posted. Or say, if anything happens to me, Glenn Boateng and all team members of Grand Up Charlie are responsible and should be held responsible. I'm currently being asked to pay $150,000 for using images of myself for this current project. Grand Up claims to own me, my image, my music, and everything attached to it from 2016 to this day. Although I have not worked or had any affiliation to the company since Son of Jacob, I have not made a dime from any of my music within the period I worked with them for years now and receive constant threats and manipulation from Glenn, who is living off my money and hard work. If for whatever reason this project that I'm trying to give my fans independently gets taken down, no, Glenn is responsible. He is working constantly around the clock for me to never put out music again. I've tried to not say anything for a long time, though it has affected my well-being and mental health. It has affected my well-being and mental health greatly. But for the safety of myself and my family, I choose to publicly share the truth. And this is signed by Kwesi. I did we drop away on, what was it? Was it a Tuesday? Tuesday or Wednesday?
Tuesday,
yeah. And our trust asking me. And it's a key center stage. In fact, I'm out for maybe make up Kwesi asema. No more doubt me na no bia say omo de mebo breme I'm say oh pilot na me kura me be si dan bi you know me hia bo mo piling bo me de be adie bi. But one thing that in journalism most of the time in fact in modern day I need a feeling to do is reach out to the people who are directly involved to find out the truth. And because story be about his side, her side of the story. Now story papum paano na 3 sides. Way side and anokre. Nokre ni jina mfimfi. Nti utimi tie ha, also tie ha kakra. Na wa no use wa adwene find middle grounds. Now we Emma because near Tiga take Kwesi side of the story. But Nyante Glenn Boateng and so side of the story. We Emma Street is watching ye both Pina Glenn and any team not trying to find out what exactly is happening in their camp. And lo and behold, we got a different narration altogether. You reach out to lawyer Jonathan Amable. Ono and lawyer for Ground Up Charlie. Or representing Glenn. And of course, time and up Kwesi Juma Emma Ground Up also so not representing Kwesi. Now this is what he had to say. He elaborated. In fact, he breaky statement in the statement or the tour about him breaking it down bit by bit. First and foremost, the part where he talked about CBB Tona Yemblemu Glenn Boateng made it look as if Glenn is a very violent person.
After his life.
Who is after his life. Which is not true because all the threat or say abanasono a legal threat and nothing more. Because the series of emails are a lawyer not share with us, of which there are timestamps to it. All of them, the lawyer encouraged him, on a Glenn, encouraged him to seek legal advice in Adia Oyen or say, find a lawyer to explain all these things to you. Said because almost always it seems like we see Nkasa na air trotro BB. Ono na air tro the ope descend no I'm say bro Adia na enye sa where we've rich enye wubiem. E was all my lawyer ebem. But Kwesi and fees and money. So I think when we had a conversation with the lawyer, I asked him, say, did they ever have a one-on-one with Kwesi's lawyer before in Adenina? And I think he told me, he said the only time Kwesi lawyer Bem is when he decided to leave the contract 1 year prior to the cessation or expiry date of the contract. And foreign lawyers be thrown wanting to know the terms of termination of the contract.
Okay.
That was the only time. I was sending my phone and one
They didn't come again.
They didn't come again. So Kwesi never employed a lawyer. Dealings Kwesi never did. And that is very, very serious.
Very serious.
Extremely serious, because how do you enter into a contract without a lawyer?
How?
Regardless of how plain the English may be, how simple they may be. Charlie, contract your contract. And once our unko suku nibi do not try to use layman's understanding of his words to thereof, therein, thereas, words be hence, massa.
A simple, the boy is coming. What do you call quarter one?
Oh, mubeti me actually lie. And Kwesi comes across as he is a very lovely person.
Yeah.
But in the case of the law, it doesn't favor
a lovely person.
No. Call to them, Makan, the message should be. And what young can crew, your camera.
Camera.
When you crane your cocoa who embrani your coca. Inti Mrano saying the SCA. The SCA and say to answer his other part of assembly. Also, ground up say they own you, so you can't use your image. That is factually wrong, because all that they were saying is that they produced images for you and videos for you, and that asset has become theirs. And young fan say, yeah, baby, Monday, Tuesday, sa videos are pictures on setting because they were commissioned by Ground Up. It becomes the property of Ground Up, of which you agreed in the initial contract that was presented to you in 2017. In 2017, my contract, I say, assets that are produced by us becomes our property. Yeah. You did not contest that. Why contest you? Exactly.
I think Adia Bakwan Kofonsia say Ghana has slim not to catch him in shame. Understanding the legality of a contract.
Want to see
to no masign krata. Miss on krata and miss sign and a share humanasi into masign.
Into me sign me a shade manasi.
May sign me a shade humanasi.
Okay.
On TSS, it is a legal binding document
between two parties.
On life for that. What life for that?
No, one thing about Adieni, and when I was a me engage lawyer, no, me tiniama bebriasi. Or say, putting it out there that we own you, we own your image. And you're wrong.
Very wrong.
And you're so wrong. Now, so all started say uye project, you know, and Ghanaians when the artists near sema. That is where you understand Ghana for. They will move towards artists. Because artists, nena, a darling boy, and not darling, only famous. Wow, one chain be a who say who did the artist, no, a shine. But I can tell you, say, Ground Up made Kwesi known, and Kwesi made Ground Up known.
Yeah.
But it started from Ground Up. Because without the financing, and today I will present a lot of facts to this case. Now, almost so we try new pictures now. The Yale projector, they don't have any problem because these are photos and audio, and I say audio visuals that were commissioned by yourself.
Yeah,
we don't own that. But if you go and pick content that we generated for you, and I say images that were commissioned by us or paid for by us, there be.
Any day.
That is all that they are saying.
And on a day,
Me say unim say photographer etwa picture Kim. Now walk of internet and so post one so you.
Yeah.
And it happened. I think some years ago, US, one popular celebrity. Or say, Nanya Miana me wo picture ni. Dabi.
Sir,
but the production is not for you.
The means at which that picture now photo
when
came
you
about.
pay for the picture, there is a level of rights that still goes to the photographer. You own a right on that picture. The photographer owns the right.
Even if you pay.
But when to your car, the photographer owns the right to that picture. I saw a comment Obi Busa say, "Inti say record label no say or sign no we na say onu twem na wonyum no ogini nyina free won sama enyum no record label no ko perform was stage ben so aden on fan che artist
So
I don't know on your day.
on fanyom no enche artist nti we a record label me your artist me no yentem ate but then the contract said say
all assets produced no master copies
nti what the person was asking is wo no waje enyum no perform was
performance on
so you see people's mentality
okay on perform and also unim Kwesi was not fair to ground up, and I'll be honest. Kwesi wanye fair, especially by posting that statement and adding the image of Glenn to it. In the upcoming weeks, my prediction, my prediction, I foresee say ground up is going to sue Kwesi for that particular
for defamation.
For defamation,
I support.
For defamation and all that, I foresee say ebesi.
Well,
so because you remember say me busa lawyer and say what are the next steps to this? No, so obebusa the client, the position on that.
I think,
but baby, what drag your brand in a druno. Say a miming pa, I will sue Kwesi for that.
Slim, not to catch you, but for me, I think at this point, people are having the conversation on the same medium now. This Alec should render an unqualified apology.
Oh, definitely
to Glenn.
Apology, but still,
because they've been trying to get him to sit at the round table for a discussion for so long.
Yeah,
information are me picky. And in fact, one was stated even in the thread of emails, say, we've contacted your father. Say, cool, calm heads and solve this issue because as same way, any say koso, any say tra, enya die bie hu bie o Kwesi ne ground up enya die hu. O say, one mrante ene ye adwuma ground up ye adwuma no. On san keske bia. There's a thread of emails. A say I send you payment link. I'm workers will receive payments. And from 2017 to 2021, our first contract and it was a 4-year term.
Yeah.
Renewable by 2. O sign we na 60-40 no. Se na yen when nya hwe woma. Then now say repeat sign 50-50 from 2021 to 2023. Why did you do that? Were you forced? These are some of the questions we need to ask ourselves.
Slim,
were you forced?
One other question is the fact also he didn't make a dime.
And that was the approval said. There's a thread of email say I send you payment link. I'm going to click it so I withdraw scan. And after accounting, yes. And after accounting, it was clear that you have received over 91,370 pounds. Pounds. Because Ground Up is a UK-based company, yeah. So they pay in pounds. So now you are lying to can't throw at Abontin for what? Because you want public sympathy. And it was clear from the beginning that was what Kwesi wanted to do.
And
so me baby soon Abontin na manfo nyina be gina mechi because me na me artist.
And a new project not dey ban in Tiana.
It could be. It could be.
So he's trying to generate a
it could be because
at this point I would also say kudos to the lawyer, kudos to yourself, kudos to Obia Onitimi initiate that conversation because it would have been and come on, yes, our conversation now. Yeah. Bro, trust you me say
And it was turning
on social media.
It was turning into a Me Too movement too.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say
Now
that
we have a
because
Canadian.
producers need to buy out by because so many say at the end of the day, regardless of say ebia mama yenhu this side yeah and kade bebe bia no yen nyina ye bedwene say the Kwesi Arthur no can because already the fact say he's an artist is so that he owns the heart of the people. Oh, your friend is a record label no there. Who church the intinia we dey obi into the fact so no aba abonten aba say ni ye me kumi ye me amekon e wo baby amete no obviously obi okro mbisa say Kwesi dey no obeti ntokwa na ko ama
amanfo ana eku ntokwa ni nyina no metiase and I respect their emotions for the artists because yes, these are the people that makes us happy. I respect Kwesi is one artist that I love so much. And he said me personally, I have benefited directly from him. So there is no way I would want to run down Kwesi Arthur for anything.
Yeah.
That is why time me editorial be about him about his rasta agrada because agrada na dia homboni ashemu. When I met him at Hits FM and he complained about that, I apologized because it was just a joke. It was just really a joke. So if any pana can joke about just apologize and move on. Most of the people do not get some of these things right because as much as we love the artists, we should also look out for the truth because any artist now who are they penetrating the bar about. There is another element inside. Maybe there's another element inside called the investor.
Yeah.
Of which their contribution to this industry has since been looked down upon so much that they feel ama adwuma no aye ne ya aye din aye ya enemrem. Enyum to adwuma. Ene se obeto taxi. Ni mienu nyina ehu. Ampo wo de be produce artist ne se wo de beto taxi. Ni mienu ayehu. And me yasa akwa because when you lie about something that is traceable like money because accounting be who trace no.
Yeah.
So when I was doing my investigation about this thing, do you know that Kwesi Arthur ground up Charlie bought a Mercedes-Benz GLK for Kwesi Arthur?
Yeah, he posted it. Yeah, we saw it.
But
one video. Oh, forgot the video. No, in the same video, they showed the Benz. Oh, I forgot the title of the song.
Or catch that man for baby fever.
No. It was there's a music video to it. I think it's one of those ones that no kita Indomina. Oh, forgot.
He never told the world.
Title of the
he never told the world where that car came from.
About the music business now.
He never told the world.
And Kwafana ya etu jinem ekekane omo pay most of the time speaking against the investors no. They think that artists no kujina studio or recording via let me say investor na copy pancroft or actual stem chale umbonyo mu ekakrama. They think that is where they think that is the entire.
It is not job. So.
Music production, music business is one hell of an expensive avenue to venture in. A rent yama. Edano a black sheriff. Mpabuan cry 200.
Me say.
Na Mpabuan is about 1,000 at times 100 na saying.
Unim say last week black manager. Unzo ka say or the 80 man artist no and of 20. Patrosa film no mate going rating.
Somate. Obi ye 60-40 or ye 50-50, ebi mo ye 70-30. And so ono time my artist 80% e mo no fa.
And pono still edru hono. Ghana for be didi manager na
take advantage of black.
One of the things
possible.
We are very quick to forget, say before even an artist was signed to a record, it's very few artists maybe the numbers fame no before the record label ever coming inside. People are looking at money. Let's talk about fame alone. If you quantify fame,
managing fame and quantifying fame,
fame keke to get somebody to reach at a point where or train more people point and know that particular person. Sure. For you to manage somebody to get to that point, it's not easy. So people just look at it and Sika 100,000 and Akoboshi Yaman 50,000. Do you know Kwesi Arthur is a typical example is Kwesi Arthur. Kwesi Arthur was made famous by Ground Up. Ground Up was also made famous through Kwesi Arthur. It's a collective thing, it's a 50-50 thing. Why are people not talking about that? Before music, what was Kwesi doing? Before the discovery of Kwesi Arthur, what was he doing? Some of these artists, they forget to. You came into an environment. They said, "Oko creative space, Oko drew on not producer and wabon." And you now all the one to me can't just say manage it or do this. You are not going to become who you are. Or how many times did Kwesi pay for his own record?
Mami we na in a statement.
Mami about baby back when she ma adwene maso. People forget that artists na nyanyumo bo nyina na be hit. Into there are a lot of songs record label no spend money on
that they can't even don't even
make anything.
Eyeka eno na yeka artist in Bejina on beka say
eno dey on ma
kanti my yencha kano eno na a record label nko anka.
Let me read some of the comments and address them. Nana Ajua Ampoma. See, my question is, when they were getting the money from those platforms, did they ever pay him 50-50 from Son of Jacob and 40 from the 60-40? Yes, they were paying him the 60-40, and they told him, and it was in the first thread of email, Mokachen said, per our agreement that we have with you from 2017 till now, Sa Asemno, yes, say, Ubenya 40% out of all the assets, royalties from all the assets that we've had during that time. And Son of Jacob, Nebeko 50-50. Please confirm that you've received payment for these things. And he said, yes.
Did he even read?
And almost actually, please refrain from visiting friends in these stores and contesting the ownership of these songs. Jai said now he tried even uploading some of the songs on a separate YouTube channel. Why would you do that? That is pure TV, like a chrono, because you know that it doesn't belong to you, and it's IP laws. It's IP laws. It's proper intellectual property. It says the person who commissions it owns it. And you know, as an artist, if you do not know this, then why are you even doing this job? Why are you even doing this job? And it hurts me so much that Obia Nyes Hadie other than Kwesi Arthur, who is supposed to know better. Come on, Koraninye. Man, Kora artists now, Afi no Mabano, Omunyes Hadie, you know better. Who the only you have access to other artists who are seniors in this business. Ask them, say, oh, open Mr. Oh, my situation, we say, and you did not do that. And then you were even reporting Ground Up to these stores, which is very bad. Now, to move on with respect to Asama Wakase, Omokache is on refraining when Yayo, and he went behind the record label to contact Platoon, that is the distributor, and tell them, say, on Ground Up in your into an advance on projects in the Son of Jacob now or Mayen, and they gave him $118,000 plus $118,000. And he took the money and ran with it.
I have a question.
It's bad.
I have a question to Glenn, and as a Ground Up on that particular, it doesn't sit well with me. How did they submit the project?
Okay,
was it in the name of Ground Up? Then if it was in the name of Ground Up, how did Kwesi Arthur convince Platoon
to even do that? So what I know, media kakra minim about these labels and DSPs now Omoma advancing. Most of them deal with artists. Okay. Now present or management at Roma, they will deal with you. But as to say, Omutimi J Kwesi D
because if the project is submitted in a particular record label,
because the Son of Jacob, if you check on DSPs, is under Ground Up. It's under Ground Up. It's I am one so to me call that level to even do that. Granted, say why? It is time that Kwesi comes out to debunk all these things, because in summer Kwesi de beto abontino. if he knew say or a writer and ya bontin ye de beto ye kokko to them. And somehow they beto abontin nyina yen. It is not court of public appeal. It is courtroom, divisional, high court, divisional, and as a commercial unit. And one year they call. One year this assembly call. Me, I'm a catch me. Say we say. If it's threat, police will.
Oh God. Me,
I will catch me. Me, no, they walk catch you. Then I bit my. And I say, could you not plano? Let you a 2 dinner on stop on. No. I want to understand. What Kwesi meant by if something happens to me, it is the meanwhile the police is there.
Something happens to me, it sounded like maybe a ground up more sending or some threats, be
like
there's some messages,
violence kind of
and calls, baby and phobia training.
That is what Slim is saying. Say, if that be the case,
and crack court police
never on some
police.
No police invite.
I don't know his state of mind. I don't know
I'm so sad.
The public empathy.
I'm so sad talking about Kwesi in this way because he doesn't come across as that type of guy. Facts.
Are you sure he's not suffering from any form of depression?
Tina, the last ending of it has affected my well-being and my mental health. That I'm moving towards it.
You are being forced to believe.
I am being forced. And this one is from the horse's own mouth. With that being said, he's not a horse. As somehow kind of horse affecting mental health. And I am tempted to believe that all is not well with
all
Kwesi.
Is not well. If
all
truly,
is not well.
If truly this is based on his mental health, then it makes a lot of sense because when someone is depressed, like depressed, the issue about Blacko, the contract with the management and all, can be a trigger to Kwesi's depression.
Yeah.
And when the trigger comes, usually depression, you don't justify. You blame. So that if there is depression, it is and something needs to be blamed for the depression.
No, but okay.
When you go to
something
court,
very simple. And emails, I can go through them again. I've already done editorials on it, 2 editorials on it. There's nowhere in the email that Ground Up SND man can say, we own your image, so you can't use your image.
Your own image.
There's nowhere in it. So why is he saying that?
The way he put the thing,
has come
the
to
construction, because the way
I can't use my pictures.
I mean, so to me, one personal picture, to me, fans were wanting. That's what I understood the whole issue.
I remember making a post that artists should not sign their lives away because this is how we understood the whole post. As a Ground Up owns the entire being.
That's how he beat
the whole thing.
This is not the first time he has released a project. He has released like 3 projects. Extra video, and if we the youth, did you hear Ground Up come for him?
It can be that Ote Blacko manager 80-20. It didn't sound like Blacko manager peprene huajiji kabiane ade. After the discussion, no, I say no oyeche. I saw yeche. Intie bia and also made him feel say now I'm 50-50 and I just
be contract compare sign
let's not justify anything.
No.
This speculation crowd
this is not justification.
I the man the major today mental health no what
touch
say mental health
in 2018 in an interview a year one TV station show. I want to get the facts right on this one.
Okay.
Now, mama producer Abo Sarden. Kwesi said, on Ground Up and Juma Beam.
Yeah.
You realize that? Yeah. It was in 2018.
Yeah. 18, 19?
One of them years.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, now ukra contractor valid. Producer maybe more bossa a particular video because it is idea you try as much as possible, and for once I want the viewers to take out all emotions and let's deal with the issue. And where we stand right now, we are in a drought season where artists, up and coming artists, new artists, is because some people have decided not to spend again. So we should also look out for those people. It's what I interview, on the 5th of July 2018 on DH1 TV. And I say, I am not signed to a record label, but people associate me with Ground Up because that's my family. 5th of July 2018. And I can't say 5th July. This producer, the man, person, the tusu. Now, man, phone. Meanwhile, you had a valid contract during that period. A valid contract, and you knew because you signed it. So then the Bema
you don't work with them anymore.
Like you don't own sign you.
Yeah, that's that. I was thinking about it that way.
Also contradicting also unsigned that. I say I'm not signed to a record label. Not signed. One can say, I'm no more signed though. I am not signed. Okay. There's another one. On Wakasasa shooting himself in the foot again when he was was it just leave me to put out music? And the other one says, I leave my contract, and I'm going to read series of emails where he contests the ownership of Son of Jacob project. But Osaba Abontin Ebeka will say, I lived up to my contract. I did the time. Even after it was over, I decided to work with you on Son of Jacob in good faith. I carried Ground Up Charlie on my back. Meanwhile, there's a series of emails where he's contesting says Son of Jacob and Ground Up for there. How?
It's confused. So he keeps contradicting.
I don't get it.
I think
now I am worried about Kwesi, not because of this legal case, but I'm worried for, like, as in personal, in the well-being, I am worried. Because in this day and age where I'm unforbid to make people evidence, you do not do some of these things like.
Yeah, and there might be emails on the net. No, and then I don't get it.
There was I don't know where I saw the comments. They were like, it was on a space. Obviously, I didn't email no more person on the frequency to have a conversation. I know I need a phone call, and I was like, bro, record labels and businesses.
We deal with emails. Written agreements.
I don't know. I don't know. Glenn,
there be no say what tap is now really picture.
It was on the space on X.
The picture. Now the picture looks like the comments.
Was maybe until Kofobe be fans ni be small boys ni be way na slim you are hater I've always hated Kwesi. Now Ghana when obi e ka obi asema ye hiti no. Opa ochnama friend say Sako de asembra Sako de fans we hater we asembra nene tell na time bibia we biase obi
you are a hater.
How is
as
that
long as Uncle mu favor there.
One thing he also said in the write up about say on receive a dime. Now when it came out say we receive bibi no, now people were saying say the contract if even people were saying say 10 years. No, to what it is not 10 years. Contract wise, he signed in 2017 to 2021 and renewable from 2021 to 2023. 2022 after Son of Jacob no jai no koye 1 year 1 year ne come on 1 year. He did not work with them. He left. He did not promote any song on a Son of Jacob. He did not. Because he didn't. Lawyer never have a kind. I think
it was just 2 interviews.
They've been lenient with him because what breach contract? When they sign a contract, now say time nundu ye. Now you just walk off. I have every right to miss you. But they have been quiet. Omu momo ankasa. Na say momo assist ne ba bontin. Eden semba betu say as if said they are after your life. They are after like one kasa picture kura ucha wo Facebook cramp untumi fanto wa. Na ode because asasa me a okay yeah. One thing I make sure about your friend is famous people. If somebody is famous, if they're a celebrity, they obe can be ano. Obi tiechire. One shot or no crab acting upon it. Obi bet me Glenn after because I sign the okay.
What motivate you?
Because who take me artist my sister and the mental health is at say. Not just say Kwesi Ata I want to me. I'm from ya complain na. Say Glenn is actually. Timishawa. Na me the baby boat trimwa.
Emmanuel JB, or say bro, these are just email threats. Can we see payments made? How? Exactly.
Payments
then again. It's a payment thread. Extra conversation between two people. Bako say, Pacho acknowledge some senduska. Na bako na ba beka say I'm a receiver. Or say onji enu ni opeso who say eyampa. No problem. No problem. In this case, that means ground up a can try to Kwesi so. Kwesi now has every right to sue them.
Yes.
And
so why is Kwesi not suing? Why is Kwesi not suing?
I feel so beat it. You feel so be how? Na se sa nipa kono. Wasem wo mu wasem yeda.
In a threat.
Why?
Threat of physical harm. Na Kwesi Ata ote ho.
I'm here threato. I do shadow in every
You work for over.
This year when I'm waiting now we shadow. We shadow in our cry idea. Ghana there.
A typical example also na equals between Malcom Nuna and the management. Now Malcom's story, very simple and dicey. Malcom,
a fresh guy.
This guy.
Even before Benzo, see, I got introduced to this guy by Yalfred Paul. But Guy Wayne, I mean, he used to sing. Even before this Benzo man. If you know Malcom from the days of Shasia, you know that this guy has talent. At that time, I was comparing him to Kiddy.
Oh, okay. What did to Kiddy level? She say you order no kidney. Being a free kidney, I call kidney.
Malcom.
Yeah.
Charlie, it hurts me.
So Malcom case, Nelson at Discovano, Abungo Discovano at the age of 17, not right in 17. And legally, on to me, take a decision at 17.
At 17.
So there was a guardian, a year. Near auntie we are not because I think mother and father was a UK.
I'm now UK.
Auntie near auntie we nation or hasi. So time no SS. Na a branch no a poppy off no. Na omo ye juma. Guardian and na nen sasha se. But na untimi and signing no away.
Yeah.
You get it. Intino akoye say yeah juma. Bibi bamwa. Na Ugadian na yede aba hwehwe aka nti 18 and we are saying ye betina se and this is I think around 2019 thereabouts Abrantie di 18 because na Lisa and they introduce Malcom to Abongo and who say Abrantie we make sure say me na ayedwuma Mo year juma branch year the 18. Na when the 18 sa time na Benzo o my year machine man aye hotel hunu remix any other tracks via my Benzo no so aba be boom I think in 2022 or say a branch here no e papa ba ya chama ya be manage ba
That's the truth, bro.
That was the truth.
Doesn't
no cap.
I'm a branch and about bedroom level we no. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I be manage.
Seriously?
Oh yes.
Asam no.
Oh, just asam.
That's the case of
baby. Asam na ni.
After manager na boka. I invested the kid.
Yeah.
Ama wa bedu baby a wadu no. Edu time a bia ye betena se nka aka na nka ono nso ate ne kakakra no.
Almost say
This is your managers.
yes.
Managing
To
directors.
shock you, this was at the peak of his.
This was at the peak. That time, no Benzo never drop.
Nah, drop him. I just
And I'm going to shock you by playing the remix of that song that never got out. There's a remix to Benzo.
Exclusive, baby.
MPA. And I have a friend, lawyer, Onisios online, so I'm a son and I will boss because. And then seminar
Malcom asem mobile.
Hey,
me bought exclusive amamu say
last year releasing a nyompo.
oh me ba ni
Malcom asem na manager na.
Samini.
you have Samini remix what you got you
Okay.
what's my movie me said but a follow-up song to that would have been Malcom and Wendy Shea. And you tell him no bother. And you wait the entire bit my bonus will be any. Tell me to my bones obi any bi. Na ni obi any bi say as a result of say Abrante no decided say family say ombe manage no. All that time the manager was working. Manager was working to get him collaboration, to get him on shows, to get him on big platforms for elevation. From 2022, I was your phone. So what is what releasing you?
He Get to Gospel. That was last year. I had a conversation. I had an interview with him. That's the only song I mean him saying.
And I send mommy. Good morning, I just my first single of the year. Can you sing Get to Gospel?
Yeah,
this
Get
was
to Gospel.
18th March 2025.
Yeah.
The gospel song.
No. It's listening to the song. It's Charlie. I said na yama minim ya make up.
A bit try with this.
Charlie, bro. You see,
Now,
Malcom,
at the age of 18, couldn't he have taken a stance?
bro. Or go ahead and take a stance. No. No.
Information and I'm a crowd, my dear mama. Now, when they dropped Benzo, all along, time Abrantiano, Malcom picking in ano, they kept him, they kept pouring money in him. And this, according to a year management, they did so much that even some platforms, they had to find ways and means to get him on. Even if it means paying for the boy to be on stage, they would pay. Why would they do that? Because I'm pay elevation, I'm pay yama boy. Ebusuafo no ebe so ni mu. Production mon check sound on my na one for can sound wase. Ebusuafo ni be so ni mu no. Say e kwasa 4 years ni me boa.
Yeah.
Akosi say.
Hey, bro, that guy had potential, bro.
Akosi say 4 years ni. Akosi say 4 years ni.
Because when you think about it,
so I granted him an interview. But that interview, surprisingly, no, on one of friendly bookie interview, no. And usually, and you know, and no be frame.
Same thing happened.
But then I took it like already men and rapport, we're chatting like almost every day. Into no ebia enuntia. So after the interview, no, I was on my way home. And no be friendly. And anybody be say like somebody in the industry. And anybody be say Malcom interview no when enemy bookie. Na I'm sure on one meneno a bookie. And I was like, okay, I'm saying then asem wo kwa na. And I say semu pi. And I'm saying you bomi mo. And no hwe ni na e bo hono. I na phone so. This is somebody we all knew had a future in the industry. This is somebody who had some of the best people working with him. And industry nimono, yehu on several occasions where an artist is signed to a label and then suddenly they will say, yeah, no one thinking said they can handle themselves. But then that would be the end of them. So I felt sad. I felt so sad because I knew and I believed the boy had a future.
Okay. I just went on my phone and made sure the former manager chat. I think around the same time, my friend I'm catching, I sent him a message. I was like, can we have Malcom for a conversation? The only thing he said was, I don't work with Malcom again.
Oh, sir.
Yeah. And even with the interview I had with him around March last year, that's 2025, it was Desi. Metro TV Desi. And a friend of catching and said, Charlie and Malcom, they come back into the game, XYZ. And the relationship between myself and Desi, and I was like, oh, and Malcom to I fuck with him, like, my interview like 3-4 times. And I'm saying, my name, bro. And amazingly enough, Malcom doesn't usually walk alone. But by there was just one other guy who I don't know.
And a cannon.
It's a team, that's a
on a normal or bar, at least there's a familiar face, an industry person that I can point and say, oh, yeah. Win. But bro, yeah, Malcom's issue there.
Oh, yeah. Like, bro. Say, sometimes, no, yeah, be my excuse me to say why you are. It don't be a young question. You found more ben.
No, but what the fuck did the family think that it's easy?
Because I saw Muhunu from afar now near my cause we be a fame kakra banner there no. I'm feel say a fala easy.
Same way no. You be attacking you pa. Was your lawyer when he was ever be doing commosi no so I'm who from on also the side. Chef Bunch or say yes it's clear now let's go young fire. A kwamuda hodia any driver tiaso. Na yanko Mr. Pre lawyer to mama na mnini ndi nkomo because there is a case of Malcom Nuna ne Spotify account ne YouTube ne yes ne YouTube iTunes all the DSPs. There's been an addition to Adiano artist fufuro bi aba be kan nyom ne hu by the name DJ Adjoa. DJ Adjoa and Malcom Nuna. Benzo. DJ Adjoa, Malcom Nuna, Machine Man.
Hey, DJ.
Yes.
Share.
And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because me who na me ntiase. Tine wo se me ko ebo piano management ko busa say adey. Yes I say wajeje abrante no Instagram account. Waje ne Twitter. Yes in social media. Ninyina. There's a reason for that. But okay, my main start here. Instagram, because I have verified account in Intino. Nipa obi e na manager obi ono ne operate. No so ye ja adwuma ye dia.
My dear mommy.
My dear mommy. Contact Instagram.
Yeah.
Na Instagram enye de reset ade no nye de. Enfa ma oje nefa ko. Abrante ni today 20 minutes.
Oh, that's the case.
That's the case. That's the simple case.
Wow.
Just contact Instagram, then get the rights, get your Instagram and go.
And before say
no they logins ma
yes.
They should give him his logins back up.
The logins number, the logins no according to management, almost the logins number Malcom Nuna. No ankasa contact here because also oboshe man also contact your and then let them open this thing for you because we don't even use it. No.
And especially if it's verified.
If it's verified,
it should be easy for you, the owner.
Yeah.
It should be easy. But anyway, what they ever to us because Nesam no a doors me baby you the cost breakdown of sika akura Malcom Nuna mu any sika e buy. In fact, there was a $45,000 beer. Now 1 RPM. You imagine somebody baby investing in a year benzo. And no nebusian for ne tell you almost say that it's senyum no it's ka wo musa
It's always
Any
greed.
fire cry my fire by my
It's always greed.
It's always about the money.
fire
Always greed.
fire baby my na.
It's always about the money.
Okay. On the line, me ankasa me senior, me chairman. Council, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Now what are
Bibi awako council na also bibi awako side.
you? Me ado boko.
In fact, council na dia moka ya na manage ho power. Am pese mi sua law ibi.
Yes, look kawacho. Brand ya mokashe.
Was council. Council. Na. Yeah, council. Come on. Senior.
Brand ya mokashe.
Senior pacho enyume me ba wa so ya. Me hia umwa. Me hia ntrechire mu bebre because artist manager and sensem no asa sorry biem pa wo mai we mu a chese nya de ketwa. Last week yet Kwesi any ground up. This week so me am on a mission to uncover the truth behind Malcom Nuna and so any management there no. Now me sure say we are privy to some of these conversations that are flying on social media. First and foremost, asam kesiye pa na wo legally man for especially with respect to artist management asem say what is the standard industry rate and answer what is the best industry rate and answer percentage ben near dem artist YNCC no because a man for bebre cry foul say artist ni bebre contract no 60-40 and I say 50-50 the cry no YNCC artist no me pacho who deal with artists Mr. industry no say and I say industry practice and it's say
DJ Slimeda, all right, but for this, it's a very open conversation.
Yeah.
And what that I would say is maybe I'm back now, because I say artist and then record label contract, no, a investment by an individual or another person with the hope said the fact. And the individual also so when they say, "Obi te baby cash one home." So or the no ben and if I can't get me the physical when I'm an talent one mono a pie. Every acquire dino is based on your negotiation. Airport sales started bonko. And as also called a Yisoswa, the Kum Bomaswa started bonko. So there are a lot of things that goes into contract negotiation. DJ, imagine say what for $100,000. Is an individual. It's highly risky. The investments are no return. So it is a contract based on negotiation by two parties. There isn't any industry practice for hope. All the ones that I've done, no, or a fresh individual, I build the brand no from a scratch to a level where the person will be marketable. Mostly the contract is a 5-year contract. And ordinarily, for all the ones that I've done, the first 2 years, a year promotion, investment, we putting the money back into the artist through employing business development manager, promoter, a road manager, who put in the flags, first 2 years, you don't make any money. Now I'm saying that because of TikTok and that the wind surrounding it, but in terms of brand promotion, brand building, mostly it's between 18 months to 24 months before it takes. Into all these things, mostly for a new contract, they are 60-40, 60 for the investor and 40 for the artist. So to keep to a level where we are renewing and I'm saying 50-50. But like I said, the angles of contracts they are not also. And say just the investor and then the artist make a case. Now there is the business development person who comes in. There are production that comes in. There are social media influencers that comes in. So it depends on the kind of contract I are drafting, and then it will advise us on the percentages. And a kind of contract, the time of also so a fresh contract now. What young boy onim she would do take about the cinema. There is a contract where Nipakono contract mudada and the old film about. So there may be some liabilities here when it's here or there back. And there is one that we join. The old contract and then the new label for no. carbon to say Amrado, all free a friend is Mike Bennett. No, New Nation is a joint effort. A New Nation name Mike Bennett, not Kabuma, or they manage Amrado.
Okay.
A free contract back, Moko back, what to say when Strongman was leaving, we'll leave
Mike Bennett.
Mike Bennett, no, he just left there completely and then joined Success. So the percentage wise, no, and black and white depends on the things that goes into this contract, the investment that you are doing, the promotional plan that you have put in place before you can advise on the kind of percentages that you want to do.
Okay, lawyer, Mami Busau, who said, yeah, didn't come last time, we were looking at the fine margins of the law and what it has to say about breach of contract and what needs to be done in a case like that. As with respect to artists, maybe artists decided say, "Oh, sorry, aqua, quite bang, I'll be to me so address no." Na say Kwesi Atadiano, aqua copium say a brand in a car 1 year and then a contract once a we no sorry koye. Malcom Nuna no different because we di 18 of legal age no bet my representing on and abusuan force yen to asu biem. In a case in these two cases, so we investor, how do you move? How do you try investment in the back?
All right, so let's take it back. What I said was that one of the very first things that the law looked at, let's say, does he have the legal capacity for us to be sign? And remember, so within the 18 years, your man of quite on contract.
Okay.
So 16 years with the parental consent, because they are art industry, the law allows us the parents and as a guardian, they can guide him as to letting them sign contracts which will be binding. If Malcom did all kind of say, at the time, if you are not 13 years, they said, when did they also acquire trace in an army? Let's say, was time acquire. Later, when the child becomes 18 years and I'm 16, at the time, I would be a chin and I say, all things are contracted. Now, the law doesn't even allow you to trade with a child who is below the age of 16 without later consent and 18 years. Now, going back to breach of contract law, a contract that nation clauses. Those are contract your rights and obligations, duties and responsibilities. Artists no need the NSA obey tronium, obey conducting itself where the brand is kind of the or as a financier, so the NSA one, you have to first define a project amount. Yeah, the 300,000 there, the 500,000 there. That 500,000, it must say a promotion, it must say a welfare, it must say a stipend, revenue streams next year. My monthly allowance, are you doing that? The balance me as an artist, no, the law gives me the right to write to you and tell you that the contract now is signed. Now I was able to maybe I'm 10,000, 20,000. You could show bar revenue split me a 40, 60, 50, 50, 30, 70. If you are not giving me that, the law should provide contract now should provide a cure period. Cure period then they say, who are due to be a way? 1 year are due to know. The amount of time say go and rectify those mistakes. So they are contract and all the parties should strictly be following it. If you don't do that, then I can walk away by giving you the termination notice.
Okay.
And like I said, even before somebody wants to be started to get it, be ready for money. It was a 1-page contract plan. It was a So breach of contract is when there is a clear obligation on both parties. There was a A&B manager and also Mamika. Because the favor. It's not a favor, it's a contract that we sign. If that contract now you're signing it, say, oh, also the I write to you, explain and say, the contract we signed, there are some obligations that you need to do. If you all can, I will say, welfare fund, some kind of money that I need to do. But the one, not the contract terminates here, then I am legally under obligation.
Okay.
Makes me I walk away from the contract that I signed.
Okay. Now, in the case of a year, Kwesi and the team, the management, in the case of Blackwood, I sure say no so we follow kakra. Anyhow, our case in equal ND. In some cases, we munina say be a artist sorry every a year contract no call but manager no a year ni bia na also ye bia legally or the also ye bia no obetimi taking it on obetimi taking artist no on.
Of course he can. But since the contract no not Baho no say Sheriff was under contract.
Yes.
But Oko Nigeria buy that's Okuta contract. And when my friend said equity held the vigilance for the indolent. Na obebana ezo bi ampento but bedamen pass obebana da so sorry na me national case won sorry there. Then you are giving me the right to institute an action. You get it? And see, if I have an existing contract with an artist, not a new person, the law gives me so much right there. I can go to court to enforce the obligations and the interest never right. I didn't make a say. For all the contracts that I applied, there am a determination clause, buyout clause, an amount to be 2 partner investment was so to say. My bond for 100,000. Name of will is close to 300,000 and I say 500,000. Whilst you are under contract, it will be a balance of person or no for you, but it's a player. So what makes you say can be our buyout clause. I can see that new person now about the time and they say this is the existing contract between me and the artist now. So once you've taken that artist to another label without my consent, I'm taking that money from you and then the artist.
Okay. So lawyer, what in time also one who come manful AD, especially with Kwesi DNA EP manful AD come up out.
Follow
but with general impression day.
I state but he is crying out loud over issues with anything in terms of summary. 2017, you know what's my contract. During the course of the contract, I've made some investments, I've made some proportional investments into you. I use it on them. Anything that you in my time, the contract that we signed, it belongs to the label, which he considered to that. I mean, clearly, I don't know whether he's got legal advice. Those things are very critical when you are negotiating a contract. Image, or corporate branding, and other things.
Yeah.
And yeah, totally label. You can have some discussions with them. So, okay, even when I leave, I have like between 5 to 10 years to still use something which I'm in. But according to everything that they agreed, they say, whilst you are with me, anything that you do belongs to the label. Now you leave the label and then you want to use images that the investment was done by the label. They're not going to allow you because they said the new project now in our redemption. And I mean clearly redemption when they say the free baby, they will help me and now I'm redeeming myself. So I need to bring pictures, memories of the things that you used to see me do now into a bigger picture. But what the label is also saying is that no, if the image was captured during your time with us under contract, if the image was captured and then we sponsored it, we produced it, once you leave, they just limit me can okay, now I'm free to watch it. They call Al Jazeera and we use the image.
Pictures I'm trying to street is watching now. They call Al Jazeera.
No, nobody's got any issue because they say they own my image. They are not saying they own your image. What they are saying is that if we invested anything during your time with that, you have to start your own production or your own branding images. Don't use the things that you did well with that.
Inti who is a 7 or 9 Kenya sim who be as a waiting cool case.
Oh, wait a minute, Kenya. Like I said, the contract time. I always advise people, all the actors are many of my age. Once we are done with the contract, the amount says 5 days. If you have any legal, independent legal and or custody. But most of the artists are not in the stage. All the common lawyer and quite a can of also got the But I understand them to a level because most of the school fees on what's only in a movie that it is obvious about the or the ticket for the market or coin or them.
I think
another thing later, I come back to bite that hard. All the hard like yes, a music catalog is the most the most important asset of a music artist or young artist because and you are born in a 10 but 10 years after what we label you are making waves and then it's bringing all the millions of dollars of streams. If the contract sign even after you leave, you are still entitled to some music. Oh, and I say a strong man they can say no, they can say strong couple free because I'm sure the contract will save portions for music that you did whilst you dance. Even when you leave, because they will contribute towards the making of the music, you are still entitled to a quota of the production or funds that comes out of it.
Lord, where the boy kakana for a year, Omo sheye and then you may ombetia see you. One of the things a year ground up lawyer Ekan was the right to audit. On who say a year the biggest and the most important part of a contract with an artist. Mibusao, do you agree with that? And I said there are other elements music who are here equally as important, and in what order do they follow?
Also, in terms of contract, there are so many things. Are we going for a deficit?
I'm saying, lawyer, me patrol, who bet my position kakrama ya. I'm saying line to Chelsea kakra.
What do you mean?
Me to on kabana first name to Chelsea kakra.
So they make about contract my accounts no one very important. There are so many things very important. Before I say better, you be define and say I don't know I make say how okay, maybe 1 million.
Yeah.
Any kind of 5% what is now.
Yeah, receive it to me and your lawyer Bima, because this is the part. This part I really want us to get that. Yeah, I want us to get the education out of it because contract in all science areas being and there was a
to look out for
areas being pan was all here because ground up lawyer and they say right to audit, of which means me GAD because say ultimate audit ko share nkrata no hu say sika yede mami ayampa efri nyumbe mu nyum ebia grande ye 1 million we so my 2 million out of that no sika say na spend ye meti me accountant ahwembi oti assess hanema no ono chemu that is the biggest writer. And I said the biggest of all the things that you should look out for when you are looking for when you are signing the contract.
Slim, there's one thing I would love say about Bibisan to say. In a case where there's no buyout clause from a contract, what is the escape? Router.
Okay. You're saying a lawyer. Oh, I see. Counsel.
Yes, look. Look. If you didn't make any sense, before every project starts, project outside.
Yeah.
If you make 1 million, 1 million, if after the 500, yeah, if you must see anything, what room the best. So if you define it a day, was it really spent? Later, about and we know that 500,000 could be back calculate interest based on the amount of money invested in the craft. The right to make accounts for both parties and even just for the artist. But the problem with most of the financiers, I won't call them labor.
You have just 1 minute remaining.
Uzikasa production. Uzikasa.
Madanity with Refo.
Production Uzikasa. Uzikasa production Buru Nafi. Anaumuru. You want to try to see between your lawyer beam because I really want to understand that part well.
You kind of saying, Mekai say, may interview a couple of artists and maybe about if they know the inflows of cash that
comes as a result of
it. And the answer I always get is me trusting.
Me trusting. Lawyer.
Boy.
Who the only lawyer?
Lawyer.
Yes, Lem.
Lawyer Fache.
So as I was saying, because artists need to find the amount of money all of us need to know how they are spending on the project. So they are actually to be a train of one. Even who say this is the amount of money that we spend. But the problem with most of the label, I won't call label because then I say an investor, but with person. Most of the fact, my whole boy, like a credit anymore. There's no contract. There's nothing. Material, 6 months. They chain on 500 is for more. Meanwhile, there's nothing to no invoicing, nothing. So on that, they say once there's a defined contract, we find how much we are spending on this whole project. There's no for invoice requesting for money. Show in the contract say, would they invoice the back within 3 or 5 days? We acknowledge receipt of it, and then between 14 days we make the money available. So we know how much money both parties have spent in the course of it.
Okay.
Now, come yesterday. That be say snap ne sheriff. But na betina me fie. One ne killer boys virtual of the buy at the point my pamo be.
Na chama etia block no so.
It's not just about honestly because now and the say automa me deal. But once there is a contract that defines the project fund, and a project funds your part are allocated for promotion. Your part are allocated for the welfare of the artist. Your part are kind of say okay, and no may be your artist maker. And a revenue stream no it depend. A bit more say. For now, there's no money coming in the work. Be anymore into a mousika be a 2,000 cities every month. The that be a pequena se was a cockable show, and I say, oh yeah, any other thing, nothing satisfied this care bar. Then we give you part of the percentages as well. If people say no, because you haven't brought any money for now, I can't give you any money until say you get it. So all of these conversations are things that need to be had between the artists and the financier before even a CD is pumped into there.
Okay. So in a nutshell, there are so many parts of it and equally as important. You can't just say way over way supersede way and I say way switching way.
But I as a football team no. What do you mean? I say strike and defensively. It's a whole unit that as a whole. Yeah, if we apply the terms and obligations of the parties, financier, what is your obligation? Because then also the BCM aside if you are to employ business development manager, a promoter, marketer, any idea, are you doing those things? Many artists also conducting myself in a way my reputation, investment, and go into the drain. So first of all, the term of the contract. How long are we doing this thing for? Are there any conditions to the term? A fixed term, and I say, if you buy 3 weeks and sign the 2 now, so you best spend some money and sign the other so. Now beyond that, then we come to the obligations of the parties. All financier would demand say, may artist would demand say, may promoter would demand say, and then from there, our real planning, in an hour, how do we even separate ways? And after separate, is there any other thing that pick from the label and then use it after or so everything? There are a lot of things that goes into it.
Lawyer, but there's one question episode bisa see in the case say buyout clause be any man say termination clause be any more. How do you exit a contract like that?
Say contract also na say one for buyout clause be any more. And only the HS anytime either of the parties can walk away. You get it. One for 10 man, say you're for 5 years. One year say you're 2 years. One time for termination clause, then it's not even a contract because every contract needs those things. You need to know, say, for how long? 5 years, 2 years, 1 year. And I mostly say termination clause don't cry there. And only there say 1 year, and so yeah. To say even when there's a termination clause, it's a K1 year last minute. There was a termination clause. It was for a specific number of years, so 2 years or so, 3 years or. After say 1 year, they needed to renew. And I was okay. Let me just pump in money into the brand. Epikiwi and a contract. Epikiwi and a contract be anymore. So then last week could just walk away. Or no one signed contract. I want to do CK ready. You get it.
Man for komu bupa
kofo. Like I said, there's an interest base. Maybe the end say, but who said Sikebi wo ho abetimi aboa me amame on net talent. Investor no so the end say who say bibi wo ma so oboa na marketing na abetimi the returns ba. So if you don't put any paper on record, then the person can just walk away.
Lawyer, that's it.
One last one.
What question?
One last one. Counsel, if the contract is for 5 years, you came with 3 years, but in the contract, there's nothing like me person me free me or say me mouth $300,000 and now CDs. That one, BBR, there's nothing stated there like that. That one also no. How do I exit that contract? Although time period no answering.
Okay, so if there's a definite term of a contract, say 5 years, there are 3 years a year. Are you saying that there's no termination clause? And I said there's no contract stamp placed on you.
There's no stamp placed on the person.
On the person.
If there's no stamp placed on you, dear, then it means that but there's a termination clause that because mostly for the contract that we draft, if any of the parties want to leave, you have to first of all give the person 1 month notice, showing them the reason why you want to leave. Then based on the reasons why you want to leave, you give the person some time to rectify it. So when Timia rectified, then you can go because there's clearly been a breach. You get it. So the termination clause in Ankasa will indicate a bit more 3 months, a bit more 1 month, and a bit more say you can just notify them 2 weeks and then you leave.
Okay.
But mostly the conditions a woman says, if there are any label property if you owe them any money, you better not see your accounts, there was a balance and a balance and then everybody can leave.
Council, I know you read that say. Yeah, that's it. I say wiki unyamra ufa studio kakra na fi echi another power session bio master class ba ko biem. Yadema up and coming for up and coming investors and up and coming artists so. Was last time you see a man folk I said they're very, very educational piece by the moment. Mate, lawyer say na yenene boss we lawyer say a lawyer for a year Amrado or say a lawyer for Mandem your pick or signing artist baby to say the who say a chagu TV sui and baby I will be so kwakuma to you. I kept on saying it last week Tuesday I say Kwesi will be fine.
Very fine.
Kwesi will be fine. There's nothing that I see say ebekoso, but the meme forecast and say due to Niama or the 2 abontino, and definitely the ground up no lawyer no sema or kind when you say a defamatory me matna have predicted say in the near future that is very close ground up is going to sue Kwesi.
Well, Slim, in that vein, me part Glenn Acho.
Oh, Panacho.
Me Panacho.
Wherever you are, don't listen.
Time I'm catch a Ghana for say, that's Glenn Acho.
Listen to this advice. Afutuo dear, but in Yafutuo,
you will not be there.
Yes, say
you will not be the Kobe in the jollof. Let me say what I have to say.
Glenn,
ground up.
Glenn, don't listen.
Big homie flea. Yes, sir. We will render an apology, and now he will render an apology. Let's just settle this.
On behalf of
me,
as who?
Hey, I'm speaking as you.
Apologize.
Slim,
apologize.
Apology them maso on fan smile. Who apologize to you? Crebe on one so channel Bible so no asan to it be.
Oh, the on cancer, but Miss
go fund me, man.
But see, put the moment 1 minute for Mr. Me discover but it's like I'm begging Glenn, the whole ground up and everybody, Charlie. I think you guys should just settle it. And if Kwesi is also watching or listening, avail yourself. Now any team names now.
There is a thread of email or my requested through ne papa say Kwesi mrano montra sen kasa.
So I
don't see Slimmer can. This issue is simple. I will say Drew.
Someone make later you sign a lawyer no. A lot of artists who be someone. Do you know Ebi Alkobo show no boy no?
Do you know how much?
Do you know how much it was charges or few? Me team would say they won't lie to me.
Yeah.
And usually when they say that, almost every time when they say that, the next question ain't then I prove it to you. So the percentage you are receiving is the right percentage that you're supposed to get. Last week, Black Sheriff manager or Kasa, Nkameba pointy. I don't know what happened that we referee. Now, me busa question wo say he made mention say Black una na ya Uncle Bosho bi osisika ni swa nti bi ho no ankasa aka kire ni so sika na say na say we bought an amount that is bigger. So in this case na say one ma Black percentage
it will be higher than
the amount that he is actually supposed to get.
On no chiches go
no would be able to nezo or chicha Black is like that.
On the next card, no, Dr. Shadrach.
It is time I was artist.
So go on, Glena.
Slim, it is time I was say artist TSC. Says a record label sign no on. Warranted diamond. What talk amount. Or show a DM. What I shame. We interview, not the one I'm not the way you say, not the way you say. It is not because omo fedodo. Neither is it to say omo subida. It is because they are investing in you. It is a business. Ghana, in fact, 99% of the time, people do not invest in ideas.
No.
People invest in potential. Why are they? No. There's a potential. Say, that is what people invest in. Makoye nsui. Miye nsuo ne bae no. Many ni panekasa yo tasting nsuo ne ade compared to other brands. Ohu say no.
Aqua blue. Aqua blue.
Udie ye papa.
Aminumbi.
Ayi ofa infitira. Ohu say nkrofo be miensa bi numbi. Nti ohu so market wo ho. Me discuss shemu a menyeska Aqua blue. Very very nice brand. Ye can say a difference me kwa kwotene ni paneni maka so me pese me di nsuo bi ba o nsuo no se ne mpese me ye no won no ma strawberry flavor and what you carry what is that? It is an idea. People don't invest in ideas, and most of the time people don't invest in ideas. And the record label we hu bibi wo mu we hu say we good won nyom to on we say nti ye de sika hyemu a ye benya mfaso wo mu. Record label ne nya we busua penny. Record label ne nya wo papa.
Nyebusa penny to park. Record label ne nya wo maame na onya wo fa. Na waka say ye can say wo for wo na ade enti no. Nia ye invest in you ni nyina you are entitled to it. No. It is business. And any single penny they will spend on you. They need to recoup it.
And like I always say, there is absolutely nobody who gets into business to make losses. If you are not ready for our talent, no, fatwa pampanso, na fakochi makola na tom.
Abuche.
So when you're ready, fatwa pampan so. Wucha enyom na ukwana ko record there. Still now there are people who have CD players ewo mu fie. Twa CD. Fa gu pen drive so. Na eyi fegu apampan so. Eyi wodi bi farm akola Kaswa market, Malata, Nima market, eho nyina ultimate de ko Ketia, Takrade market circle, Cape Coast Kotokraba. Fetching market ni nyina na ton. Ni yehu se eno no record label bia enka ho. Wo boka eye wo a wo de. Wunya mfaso nso a eye wo a wo de. Like we said early on, record label bia ni ho no ma wa boka ya tesa artist abeka se me label no enwom mu invest ye nyina no ye bo kanti label ni si ye ncheka no na ye ntua eka ba eye label no na efa. Already nankasa ni ye ni enough investors e we industry ni mu. There are a lot of events that has folded up because nipa no onya investor. There are a lot of artists who are equally good and omunya investors. Ma omun so omumu. Inti sa mo ma ye nyame ya madom na monya bia. Mo make sure as a contractor mo sign no. Atiase ye. Lawyers so cry court na ye ma ruling and sometimes they take the document back to court for interpretation. Won't take contract na se ko legal rep. Don't chire wumu. Ne huni a wo sign it emba sign it you contract in njiji mu nioma a wo begigi na wo diska ni wi a now to one hour ho a wo mba make allegations as if so obi ta wo obi pa wakum ya bre omo
baba
yenya ne wrap up ha enko kechi
kakara me dey kan won say the baba kanom na most of the time no. When it comes to these things, we only look at ebia artist ne contract. Ebia ya trama na ye mia ne kon. I think so it's about time managers na say record label or whoever the other opponent is no. Omo contract no, they should actually look at it very well. Because sometimes bia o feel say ye memoir go send a artist no so be high no. Etomi bia it comes back and bites you in the behind. Because the ye can ye ken same ye see nyina as much as de bia ye bo your friend is saying artists friend is saying managers or record labels nachi say bi omo ye say no me feel say omo so ne niema bi wo ho no mo e wo so omo di share contract ni mo a ebe favor omo in times of abia legal battles ni ade na omo mfa nhihim to say there na lawyer yi ken me sign nyame ye wadom na there be nyame ampata wa blabo na beto ma yi mu say me sign as an artist. Me the beshem chese me ma one sidia. Yeah, I was a me ma say if I'm investing 300 cedis in your friend is until say was a back contract so until say me 300 cedis no mete ebi adwuma so na me de 300 ni ekokoye ya nka bia menya profit 100 bia ka ho uwi amasan enya 100 na ka ho no you and me we die there. We die together. Yebe wo.
When say contract,
you are not going anywhere.
Going anywhere.
When say contract bi wo ha e bia for 4 years, but for 4 years no be so no. Say omonti omo ka kra na still e was so.
Nti me the best say 4 years no show na won te meka. Uba to aso ko pem say metemeka. And it's a 6 months now, so the baby madden, na matemeka. Any Miami contract, as a one sign.
Mamma can message be na young bit my address and suddenly I jump on to another story. I think in other stories, there's been a TikTok live via a Penny Charles Niama Mensa also, and then he was documenting the relationship with Stonebwoy and how it seems he's been on a peace agenda lately. But Dr. Tony Brown say if they are able to send emails, they send to Kwesi into the public. They should also share their audits report to the public too. Why do you think that is not out there? Or they are just mocking the boys? Okay, so and Nuna, or on the consent, no, or on the consent, and it's legit. So if by this, Kwesi feels say you're milking her, why don't you go to court? Same way, enye because Ground Up only brought these emails out because you said that you've not received a dime since you started working with them.
Yep.
And they have proved by email that we have received £91,370. It's no. They made it public because you stepped down. And all other things they wanted to do with you in secret, including telling even Force whatever they are doing with you by monetizing the image and the motion graphics that they've sent them. But Mayendili or say memanin triumpo. Let us deal and get the boy into the conversation so that we solve the issue. Simple. And he went on to deny what one first 2 emails he did not even reply.
Yeah, the first.
They've sent you emails, say, bro, don't do this.
So I did a background check. Kwesi posted the very first promo material for the Redemption Valley. Was the very first day email no. The email no. Said they sent the email, so you could see said they were just having that conversation back door or drop you and the when you come even say. Bro, that's not the material the guy is supposed to use at that particular time.
My main kind messages in the and then let me address them as we go on. Unfortunately, the DJ Adwa part and they will talk about it later. Because the Minya Eric Tosca, oh yes,
policeman.
The policeman, officer. Also in a separate session. What are you watching? So I say I follow your content after Snap became involved, but it's clear now that many of your things you shared were inaccurate and misleading to the viewers. So you can actually just drop them. They are inaccurate and they are misleading because the Nipana Snap has some of the kind. It has been always the same. And he says, Snap, no, you're wrong. And then you're wine beam now be teen. Or no, our teens carry here, you man, or say no, can. So, Uzi wouldn't you or no, they are any wine beam
on the story.
Exactly. But when you are, especially what he said is that when you are dealing with artists, because it is almost always impossible for you to be heard.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear the investor. Investor ni who in here. There be no artist no. Forgetting that without the investor, the artist will not be there. And me one say, fans ni believe so much. Aden amunjiji scam momun kofa artist be managing. Mo ada na mon try being here.
Would almost sponsor one video pay.
One video. Fans be. I want to see that happening. They will understand it and in a hard way. Yes, artists that you would never even look at him twice when he or she was coming up. Obloria all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Because you've seen the brighter side of it. Also share the brighter life. You've seen the brighter side. But all banana
back door Jumani nyina de. Was a statue chas ade no so too.
Oh, you will get.
And ka oba afoforo na
dachi. Before
ne komu dompe no. No we try. Now we have video.
How I came, how I left.
Dr. Tony Brown. What's up, baby? Or say that 94 was received by a third party, not Kwesi Slim. Please read the email again. Since it's a joint project, it's definitely a third party that received the payment and disbursed it to them. Oh, we're ready. Wafa. Until lawyer, you're back in Hey, Dr. Tony Brown.
A bit more Montiasi. We are in a dining Tiasi.
Stoneboy can't ask him.
But in a baby one in Tiasi,
we take the case, make it a foolish case to suit someone understanding.
On Tiasi.
Ampa. Doc, I would have the opposite of Tiasi. Fire, a be okay amount.
Oh, they're feeling
free in the usual because lawyer no the email no or no. At the end, you throw woman say You have received 91 say. Oh, say third party mom. Hey, I don't
know your third party, Nana.
I don't know your third party. Wow, unbelievable. Certainly, you can also why is Kwesi even behaving as if he's not heard what's happening. Oh, Charlie, and it has always been my claim. Maybe the end say, Kwesi, if you believe, say, management, Eddie Usika. If Kwame MP, if all these other artists, and mind you, most of these artists that were running on social media, do you know that, in fact, and I want to say this carefully, because Mimi Babusem say, we kasa. I say, whatever we've had with them was ABA on this project, ABA project, project. But none of them were signed to Ground Up.
Yeah.
None of them. Kofi Mole was never signed to Ground Up.
MP
and Twitch, they were not signed to Ground Up. And so Omo Kasa but anyway, I'm trying now because I'm trying my possible best to get Glenn and ask him certain hard questions that are also on the socials. Because it's of concern. Until we see it in Busani.
You don't know these streets like we do. We